Ortega, Dr. Ortega, Dr. Ortega is here.
Yes, he is here, but I think you're going to have to turn it down. He's suffering somewhat with a slight hangover. He had a couple of baby shams over the weekend. We can say good evening to the wonderful Noel Gallagher. Noel, good evening to you.
Right, Noel.
Good evening, how are you?
Do we need to whisper?
No, I'm all right.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine. Yep.
How are you? How's the tour going? What are you up to at the moment? Are you still on tour? Are you finished? What are you doing?
No, I've got a bit of time off back in the studio now.
Oh, okay. How long's a bit of time?
I think I've got till the end of June, I think.
Does the tour ever end?
This one doesn't end. We've been going since last March. It doesn't finish till September.
Jeez. And then September comes, and what happens then?
A little mini stroke, I think, is what I've got lined up. And then
Hold on. If you're going to have a little mini stroke, you keep that nonsense to yourself, all right? You're lowering the tone on the show.
All right, I've had a proper stroke then. Then I'll probably go into a quiet corner a week for a little bit. I don't know, and then just get back into it.
And does a new album come out then, around at the end of the year?
I don't know. I'll try and get it finished by the end of the year, and then maybe this time next year. But I don't know. I've not really put a time scale on it, to be honest.
Okay, all right. Any new jeans to tell us about?
No.
That's unusual.
No,
sunglasses.
It's unusual.
It's that time now.
Oh yeah.
Any new what? Sorry.
Sunglasses.
Always in the frame for some sunglasses. See what I did there. Any new ones though? No, I've been digging out old ones.
Okay. The old Ray-Bans, Wayfarers, is that what you're going for?
No, I've never had a pair. No, I've never had them since I was a teenager. Squares.
Cundy likes the Aviators. Thinks
Oh,
he's
I
Tom
love
Cruise.
it. Well,
I bet he don't. You wear cowboy out with
no,
them as well?
but I've got a massive head, right? And you need big sunglasses for a big head now.
Yeah, so they say. I wouldn't know.
By the way, yes, he has got cowboy boots. Let's talk about your side.
Yeah.
Because the game at the weekend was, of course, yesterday, 2-2 against Arsenal. I mean, it's not in your hands now, top four.
No, I know. It's sad that it's got to that. I mean, the game itself wasn't too bad, but the fact that it's now not in our hands is really... It's unfathomable, to be honest.
It's been a crazy week for you, because, of course, knocked out the Champions League. And now, in theory, by the end of tomorrow night, you could be fifth.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the whole time. I mean, I was out in Madrid, and it was just the most disappointing. Those two legs against Madrid was really deflating, and to not muster a shot on target is a pretty damning statistic. But and then of course I was a bit. Once we went out there, I was thinking we'd struggle against Arsenal because how do you lift yourself after that? But it was. They can't defend. You're not going to win anything. It's as simple as that, and that's been the thing all season. You just cannot defend.
Do you know what, no? The problem I've got with the City performance over two legs against Real Madrid is that there was no real fight, or there was no plan for a fight. And as the game drew on, because it never at any stage over the two ties was City ever out of it. In fact, you were always in it. And you think about getting an away goal, and it didn't even look like coming. And then half hour ago, I said to Andy, they're going to have a go now. 20 minutes ago, it has to happen.
I'm telling you, I'm walking out of the Bernabeu thinking, I'd rather have got beat 5-0, right, and been wiped the floor with. They're coming out going, Sergio has a shot in the 89th minute that just goes, oh, that's it. And I've got to say, and I'll say it now because I'll never meet him again, if a manager like Mourinho or Klopp is on the touchline, or Mancini even, would the team have mustered a bit more fight with the histrionics on the touchline? Maybe they would have. You know what I mean? I'm looking at the manager, and he stood with his hands in his pockets, and just thinking, "Come on, man."
But do you not think that these players, they're playing for next season in the Champions League? They must know that. I mean,
they've got it. They've got to carry at least 70% of the can for this, but easily. Do you know what I mean? That team, when you look at it, it's an absolute disgrace that they are now waiting on West Ham to do us a favour tomorrow night to get into the Champions League. And Leicester are 17 points in front of us. That's insane.
Yaya Toure has turned. I called him a lumbering mess because the Yaya that I first saw when he arrived at Man City, he was at Barca, impacted on games, controlled games, influenced games. He looked like I'll say it again, a lumbering mess against Real Madrid.
Yeah, but when it goes, it goes. We've all seen our favourite players down the years, whether it be Alan Shearer or Paul Gascoigne. When it's gone, and that's it. It's not his fault. I mean, obviously he's playing the game and all that.
But should he have started with Sterling then?
He's not really pulling up any trees either, to be honest, is he? The key was starting with Silva, who Madrid could never get near in the first leg, and then he goes off in the first leg and he's been out ever since. And really, had Silva been fit, he probably would have started with him, and neither of the other two, But when it goes, and you can't turn back. You can't turn back time. And that, we've seen the best of him that season when he scored 20-odd goals. What was it? And he owned the title for us. And unfortunately, time has just caught up with him.
Are you amazed now over the last 9-10 months how different this City team is now compared to when the season started? Because the rebuilding job that Pep needs to do when he comes in, I never saw this coming at the beginning of the season.
Look, we're in trouble here because if we don't get in the Champions League, how are they going to attract the players that are rumoured that are going to be coming? There's talk of big players coming there in the summer. And if they all want to play in the Champions League, which we're all led to believe that they do, are they going to come? Do you know what I mean? So people are in trouble there. Pep's got a massive, massive job on his hands because he's got to ship out. There's players there that you would that should have taken the burden off Sergio. He's walking on the Bernabeu. He's like he's coming towards the ball all night because he's not getting a kick of it. There was 10 minutes to go. He's in the centre circle with the football. It's like, what's he doing? And you could make a case for about 9 players getting the boot there.
See, Andy said you couldn't see this coming. I don't think anyone could quite see this coming. But if you look at the age of the squad, actually, you can see that this is a squad that needs rebuilding. The majority of this squad is 30 or thereabouts, and De Bruyne and Sterling really brought the age of that squad down considerably. But there's so many players that are coming towards the back end of their peak.
This would have been mostly avoidable if they'd have kept 2 players. I'm going to put 2 names to you, Dzeko and Milner. Why they let those 2 players go, somebody's got to have a word with themselves about that. Because Bonnie is no replacement for Dzeko, who always scored important goals. He wasn't a great player. He never scored many goals. He never set the world on fire, but he always got us important goals. Milner would run himself into the ground 7 days a week for the cause. We could have done with him there on Sunday, and we could have done with him in the Bernabeu. And those 2 players alone would have made the picture a lot different.
How damning do you think it will be if you don't get top 4? You mentioned there that it could affect the sort of players.
Listen,
I'm not so sure. I still think if a player wants to come to City and they're offered 250 grand a week for one season, they won't be playing Champions League. I don't think it's as bad as it used to be.
Well, no, I know, but there's the status thing. But listen, on Sunday evening, right, City fans did not organise a walkout. Spontaneously, 40,000 people left the stadium.
Yeah.
Right, spontaneously. That says it all. There's no emails going around before the game saying there's going to be a protest, there's going to be this, and there's going to be that, which is the modern way for football supporters. Spontaneously, 40,000 people left that stadium. They don't want to say goodbye to the manager. They didn't want to say well done to the team for getting to the Champions League semi-final. They said, by not saying anything, they said it all. The end.
And I mean, Andy's right. I mean, I remember the year before you got into the Champions League final, you still attracted the likes of Yaya Toure and David Silva. The money that you've got can bring those players in, and Guardiola's still got a huge amount of pull. I don't think it's as...
And also, you still be playing on a Thursday.
And there's not a great deal going on a Thursday, as everybody knows. I usually go out once every Thursday, but I agree. But look, they're talking about. I mean, I don't know how true this is, but they're mentioning the likes of Pogba and this, that, and the other. He ain't going to want to sit in the Europa League, is he? I would have thought. saying that for 350 grand a week, right? But it's a big disaster. I was saying to people before the second leg at Madrid. Who wants to get to the semi-final of the Champions League and finish 5th? No one. I'd rather have gone out in the last 16 and finished 3rd. What is it? You don't get if we end up going out of this, if we don't end up going to the Champions League this year, what will be the news of the season? It's a massive failure, even though we've won the League Cup, right? The story will be how that team has managed to blow it, and the semi-final will be meaningless because, quite frankly, we were awful in it, and really, it wasn't really worth getting there. You know what I mean? So I think there's lots of questions to answer, and the fans, the one thing about City fans is they rarely organise protests. It was just a spontaneous walkout of you know what, that's not good enough. We'll see you next season.
All right. Well, listen, Noel, thank you as always for coming. It'll be interesting tomorrow night, the Man U West Ham game. We share no more then, but in the meantime, thanks as always for coming on. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Up the Hammers.
Cheers, pal.